one of the best things to learn, one of the best sources to learn from, one of the best ways to learn is nature, or what we call Prakriti. So nature is a fantastic teacher, a great guru. Nature is something that is continuously giving. Nature is something that is continuously flowing. Nature is something that is continuously happening inside you, that is continuously coming to you, that is continuously being received also by you, that is continuously flowing inside you, that is continuously making you experience a lot of things. If you look at nature at a larger level or at a subtler level, nature is consciousness itself. So it would be very difficult to separate consciousness, let's say the human consciousness, from nature. If we focus well, then to separate human consciousness from nature would be very difficult. If we are being very impartial, if we are not conditioned by any particular philosophy or mindset, any kind of social conditioning or any other kind of conditioning, if we are just observing what is there, then according to that observation, consciousness itself is what is. In the present, there is consciousness. If you observe the present, if you observe the moment, what is in the moment, if you observe that which is in the moment, what is it? So, normally one would say that we live in a world of time, we live in a moving world, we live in a flowing world, and we keep shifting from one moment to another. And we keep shifting. We are continuously shifting, we are continuously flowing. So we are not still. We are continuously in motion. This is to an extent scientifically very correct also. But if we meditate, or let's say to make it more simple, to make it more clear, if I, for instance, if I just begin by observing my breath, and then after a certain point of time, it could take a few minutes, at a certain point of time, if I am good with my observation skills, if I have got good patience, good perseverance, if my focus is there in that exercise, which is the continuous observation of breath, what will happen after a certain point of time is the experience of the person that was observing is now a silence and a stillness. It is not that the person is not conscious. The person is completely conscious. It is not that the person is subconscious also. The person is completely conscious. But the person has a certain focus on one object, or on one subject, whatever you want to call it. And your focus is on that stillness, on whatever it is, on one point. Your focus is on one point. When your focus is on one point and it has become still, it is not moving, it is not shaking, then you experience a state of stillness, you experience a state of inner silence. And the longer you are in this state, the more deeper the silence will become and the stillness will. So of course, there will be a change in the breathing pattern. Of course, there will be a change in the energy pattern inside you. Of course, if a person keeps performing such an exercise on an everyday basis, even for 20 minutes or 30 minutes a day, to begin with, after a few weeks, after a few months, let's say after 6 months, there would definitely be a difference. In any case, a person keeps changing. A person is never the same person. Like a child becomes a teenager, it's a different person. Then the teenager becomes a youth, different person. So change keeps happening anyways. But if you do this exercise daily, then in 6 months, there will be a change. And this is a different type of change. I'm not saying that change does not happen. Change anyways happens. But this is a different type of change. This is a change that will bring you closer to what is. This is a change that will help you experience genuine peace, genuine silence, genuine stillness, genuine calmness for at least those 30 minutes and even more, because the after effect is there even after you are done with the exercise. And the more you do it, the more you become regular with the exercise, then a point of time will come when at different points of time in the day, the exercise, this will have a magnetic effect on you. It will start changing you from inside. So your attention will start getting drawn inwards. Even when you're not sitting down to meditate or to observe, even when you are not in that, sometimes when you're just sitting still, watching nature, you could just slip into that deep meditation or that deep observation, that deep calmness. It is definitely not a bad place to be in. That is a given. It is a good place. It is definitely not a bad place. And it is a very different place. In general, we do not experience this place. We do not experience this state. We do not experience this aspect of what you can call consciousness. We do not experience this aspect of life. We do not experience this aspect of our own nature. So when I was saying nature, I was talking about what is our own nature. What is the prakriti of the Atman? What is the nature of the soul? What is the nature of I? So the nature is to go inwards. The moment that happens, that's a reverse. So of course both options are always there. You can go outwards, you can go inwards. I'm not saying that a human being must always be focused inwards. It's okay if you're focused outwards for 12 hours, 14 hours a day, and you're sleeping for 7 to 8 hours a day or 6 hours a day. It's completely okay. But if your focus is inwards for even 2 to 3 hours a day, or even 30 minutes a day in the beginning, or even 20 minutes a day in the beginning, it's not a bad start. It's definitely not a bad idea. So some people say that this is yoga, this is meditation, and there are different ways to do it. There are so many techniques, so many schools, so many streams, so many pathways, whatever, so many teachers, so many icons to look up to. But at the end of the day, these are all just tools or ways to help you get there. At the end of the day, it's about you. And when you go deeper, it is not even about you. What is you? That is a very important question, isn't it? It is not about the you that you think you are. It is about that you which is deep inside. That you will only know when you go there. That you don't even know right now. So this you is a very good thing. So that base, that consciousness, that nature of the Atman is what we are talking about. So to observe nature. In this, nature is the nature that we call normally nature. Like for instance, whenever we say nature, we start talking about the 5 elements, which are definitely they are responsible for creation, isn't it? Creation of everything that is material or physical in nature, let's say. Like for instance, our own body, okay, the human body, the human mechanism, or let's say if we look at let's say how are we living our life? We are living our life in it. What is the most important factor? The most important factor is that we are breathing, and for that we need air, and we need certain type of air, and that certain type of air is available to all of us all the time, isn't it? That is why, there is a difference in the energy level of, let's say, when your room is closed for a long period of time, and when you open the doors and windows of your room, then the level of energy becomes different. In the same way, so there is no harm in living inside a room, because you can't live in the open all the time. It can get cold, it can be raining, it can be extremely hot and humid, so like that. But that's why we have got homes and we live inside those homes. Earlier also people used to live inside caves, so shelter was always there. Some people also lived under trees, large trees, so shelter was always there, always considered. But the moment we go under a tree, the energy level changes, isn't it? We get more oxygen. We get more prana, isn't it? So the energy level changes. We start walking in a forest area, the energy level changes. We go on a trek to the mountains, the energy level changes. We go inside a deep Himalayan cave, the energy level changes. We go to a very spiritual place where a lot of work has been done, from a very we can call what we can say, it has been done extremely in a very divine way. Some things are done. Divine may sound a very spiritual word, but yes, some things are done in that way. So, or we can say it's been done, everything has been done in a very yogic kind of way. Everything has been done in that way. A lot of hard work, a lot of work has gone into it to make that place the way it is. That the moment people walk inside, they can feel that energy. That sometimes people just go into a meditative state, these places, because they have been certain things are there. So in the same way, so the energy is very high in these places, and the energy is very different. For instance, if you go to certain mountains, the experience is of an altogether different level. If you go to Arunachal Parvat, the experience is very different. If you go to some places in the Himalayas, the experience is completely different. If you go and sit under a peepal tree, the experience is different. So these things are there. If you go into a cave or a cave temple, the cave of a temple, the experience is very different. So these kind of things are there. It's not that they are not there. So all these aspects, nature has been, in some aspects it is all pure nature. In some aspects, in everything, nature is definitely there, 100% there. You cannot say that nature is not there. Like for instance, if you go into the cave of a temple or any cave, you can't say that nature is not here, right? Because the cave itself is nature, it's made of nature. But certain things are also there, so a lot of work is there, so you can call it nature plus or nature plus plus, whatever. Okay. It is very important to understand what is nature. What is nature? So, according to experience or according to, a certain understanding, nature is an expression of the ultimate truth. So that is what we call nature. And the nature is what our body is made of, the 5 elements. And our body is also part of nature. We cannot say that this human body is not part of nature. Everything that is here is part of nature. The sun, the moon, the stars, our planet, everything on this planet is part of nature, right? And the sun is, so we are continuously receiving from nature. As Let's say if we are considering ourselves, for some time we consider ourselves to be on the receiver's end. What are we receiving? As while we are in nature and while we are part of nature, what is happening to, what are we experiencing? Or what are the things that we are probably experiencing, but we are not able to sometimes observe, understand, accept, realize? That is that we are continuously, so many things, so many gifts are being continuously given to us. Nature is continuously giving to you. The nature within you is continuously giving to you. The nature outside you also, what you call outside you, is also continuously giving to you. The nature outside the human body, what you call the nature, that nature outside the human body is also continuously giving to the human body. The nature inside the human body, which you call inside the human body, is also continuously giving to the human body. Everything is giving to the human body, is giving to the human mind. There is so much of Shakti, there is so much of energy, there is so much of Prana Shakti, there is so much of energy. Energy has got its own flow that is continuously happening. But sometimes we stand as an obstacle in that flow. And we can say our mind or our pattern, a certain pattern is developed inside us. Like, let's say, what is the difference between watching a television, on the other hand, closing your eyes and observing your breath? So in one, you are observing, receiving, allowing, embracing, accepting. On the other hand, the inhalation and exhalation is continuing. There is no doubt about that. But the energy is being invested outwards. There is no harm in it. You can watch television, but there are other options also, meaning you should have a more balanced life. If you have a television, human beings have invented television. Okay, fine, you can watch television. Nobody is saying you can't watch television because you are now used to television. So you can watch television sometimes. You can watch news or whatever, whatever motivates you. You can listen, you can watch. Try not to watch scary things, horror things unnecessarily. Okay? Things that don't make any meaning or any value addition. Try to focus more on nourishment, on nutrition, whether it is of the mind, of the prana, or the body. That is what is going to help you. Other things are not going to help you. Absurdity is not going to help you. Horror, watching horror movies, scary movies, that's not really going to help you. Crime thrillers, no, not at all. So, but if you're listening to a discourse from a saint, definitely it will help you. Yes. Or if you're listening to very soothing music, yes, it's good, it's okay. You can do that. It's healthy. So, of course, both options are open. You have to decide. Now, that is one aspect. Watching TV or listening to something. On the other hand, there is this observation thing also. So you should do that also. It's not that you should just watch television and do other kinds of activities. You should also do these kind of things. This is also very important. Okay. This is also very important. So, the nature is continuously flowing. The energy is continuously flowing. The grace is continuously there. It's happening. And there are so many ways, so many streams of or paths on which one can walk, and maybe this is one reason, one very important reason why a human being probably needs the help of somebody who has been there before. Someone who knows about life, somebody who knows about human life, someone who knows about this journey, okay, this entire journey. Lots of things are there. Like when we study something, there are lots of things that come up, right? Let's say we are studying mathematics, there are lots of things that come up. So sometimes we need help. In fact, most of the times we need help. We keep needing help all the time. Sometimes we need help from a parent, sometimes from a teacher, sometimes from someone else. So ideally it is the teacher who can guide best because they have best knowledge about it. Because the others can make mistakes. Teacher won't. So that is why, whether you want to call it yoga, whether you want to call it meditation, whether you want to call it sadhana, whatever you want to call it, whether you want to call it the journey of consciousness, whatever you want to call it, or the journey of life, whatever you want to call it, or the path of truth, whatever you want to call it, or spirituality, whatever you want to call it, it's good to have the one who knows, okay, their help, their guidance. So, and of course, the guidance is that be open. Don't be a hindrance in your own motion. Okay? In the energy work that is happening inside you, whether it is physically or pranically, don't be a hindrance. We need to at least enter and know what this is all about, what this talk that has been going on for the last 30 minutes, what is this all about, even to experience one drop of it. That is important. For that we need to get inside. For that we need to enter into this journey, into this path, into this program, whatever you want to call it. It's your own inner program. Then you will start experiencing that the breath is also flowing, and it is flowing in a certain way. And you need to keep observing it. And then you may feel certain sensations in different parts of the body, and you can observe them also. And whatever is happening initially, you must allow it. As long as things are not going out of control, must definitely allow it, right? But so that everything happens more smoothly, in a more guided manner, in a more seamless way, we need a guide. And it is very important to have a guide who is not blabbering anything, but a guide who is at least, I think, the minimum criteria. I think the first criteria, the most important criteria in today's world, in today's times or generation, whatever you want to call it, is for the spiritual guides or meditation guides, whatever you want to call them, is for them to be, or teachers, masters, gurus, whatever you want to call them, is for them to be, first of all, for them to complete their own journey, or for at least to go deep in their own journey, find something on that. Yeah. You should not do it for some other reason. You should do it just for yourself. That should be the sole reason. There should be no other reason. There's no other reason to do it. So they should be like that. And that is the first thing, that they should know. Means they should have knowledge. Okay. Must have knowledge. Must have that, what do you call it? That thing which is quite inexplicable in a way. That silence, that stillness, that nothing, that shunyata happens in a state of dhyana. When you go further, it is a deeper state. So minimum, this thing must be there. Ideal if it is gone even further deep. Ideally, it should have been mastered. What you normally just said. The master must have mastered it. The master is somebody who has mastered it. Otherwise, not a master, right? Second thing is, if the masters indeed master it, then they will be honest. Unfortunately, because this is a strange world, human society, different types of people are there. So even those who have not mastered it, they become masters or whatever. It's a battle. Now this is their own battle that they have to fight. They have to realize that no, this is not the right way. The right way is that I do it for my real self, not for some material reasons, for some basic reasons, not for the sake of kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada or matsarya, which is some material desires, gross material desires, or anger, greed, jealousy, etc. Not for those reasons. Yeah? So, honesty is very important. Honesty is very important. Being a good human being is very important. These are basic criteria. This is basic criteria. To be a good human being. that is not there, what's the point? To be honest, that is not there, what's the point? And it's like in first levels only the person is falling flat, falling down. Mastering is way ahead. So we need the right guide, and we need to be open. We should not be stiff. Of course, we will have some stiffness in the beginning, and so the stiffness will be physical also, the stiffness will be mental also, and that is because of the conditioning that has happened physically, mentally, chronically. So we will have to allow the flow, and there could be some there is a process involved in helping us get rid of that stiffness. Sometimes the process is simple, sometimes the process is a little painful, but we should be patient, we should be perseverant, and of course it always works. Nature is continuously giving to us. We are also continuously there. Everything that is there in this nature, including the you, the yourself, everything, your body, everything is important. Everything is kind of creating a balance. So everything is important. It's not that this is important, that is not important. It's not like that. Everything is important. That is why everything needs to be respected. Right? Everything needs to be respected for these reasons. So one needs to respect one's own body also. One needs to respect oneself or themselves. That is very important. One needs to have faith in themselves. Okay. Sometimes, or at some point of time, the time comes when we have to finally, at one point of time, we should. Whether the point of time comes early in your life or later, it depends on you or the situations in which you are. But see, you have got to decide. You are the one who is going to take the call. Nobody else is going to take the call. You have to take the call. So at some point of time, you got to let it go. Sometimes we need to let some things go. We have to let some things go at some point of time. A lot of things disappear, but sometimes you have to let some things go, which are very, which may seem like very important in a lot of eyes, but to be honest, you just can't hold on to ignorance for too long. You should not. It is a bad choice. So our destiny or our future, whatever you want to call it, is also about the choices that you make today. And if the choice that you make today is about taking the plunge, about letting the conditioning of ignorance or whatever basic information you received, and on the basis of that basic information, we human beings have, we have lived our life in a certain way. We have carved out our society in a certain way, which is okay to a certain extent. But we all know, we human beings, we don't know much. We don't have much knowledge. At least in general, we don't have much knowledge. Maybe a handful of people in whom very few people believe. Some of them are very secretive also. Maybe a handful of people know more. Maybe they know everything. Maybe they have got that access, that key to the ultimate truth. But in general, the human society lives a very, very different life. In general, the human consciousness is undergoing and has been undergoing suffering and we can say a very basic state, a basic jiva state, a very basic level, a very base level of consciousness, living at a very base level of consciousness, at a very base frequency for a very, very long period of time. But there have been some human beings who decided to take the plunge, to evolve, to ascend, whatever you want to call it. Is it possible? 100% yes. Lots and lots of them have done it. Can you do it? 100% yes. The only question is, it's all up to you. It's your decision. It's your choice. It's your choice. That is all. It's your choice. It's your hesitation. It's your doubt. Because that is stopping you. Because you believe, this normal human tendency is that if I have tasted salt, I believe in salt. And those things that I have not tasted, I am not going to taste it. I'm not even going to try it. This is a normal human tendency. Another normal human tendency is that a human being is, let's say, asked to go and observe nature, let's say, or live a certain type of life for a few months in a monastery or in some place, let's say, whatever it is. And within some time, they become very impatient. Their mind starts throwing up. Their mind just becomes impatient. They start losing it. Because for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, whatever it has been, they have lived in a certain type of a society, a certain type of a life. In that life, they are always comfortable. Now here, even for 5 months, even for 6 months, even for a year, leave alone an year, even for a few months, it is completely, they are uncomfortable. So this also happens with some people, not everybody. They start losing patience. They don't have patience. For this thing, they don't have patience. For the other things, For all the garbage things, they have got patience. For the good thing, for the best thing, for the real thing, they don't have patience. We need to make a choice. Do I want the real thing? Or do I want those things that are not going to go anywhere? The decision is all up to the, what you can call, the lower self. Right now, if you are dwelling in the lower self, you have to make the decision there only. You can't make the decision in the higher self. You're not in the higher self. You are here. Wherever you are, you have to make the decision there. Some people can come from remote areas in the world, or some different type of people. They can come and share their experiences with you. They can share some science with you, some information with you, some anecdotes with you, even some techniques with you maybe, if that is allowed, if they are allowed to do that. But it is still up to you. What is it that you want? That is very important. Now in this path, it is real. So, spirituality is actually a real thing. Yoga is a real thing. It is easier. The other things, like material things, like let's say, I want to become a very rich person. This is a more difficult thing, isn't it? This is a more difficult thing, isn't it? Those people who tried their hands at making a lot of money and could not, they know it very well. Everybody in this world wants to make a lot of money, or at least wants to make good money. How many of them have made it? Please go and find out. The majority of the population is in extreme poverty, abject poverty, to be honest. From Asia to Africa to South America, everywhere. A few handful of people, they have some property, some money. But even that economy is quite unstable. Whether it is a job, a good job, or a good business, nothing is stable, isn't it? So, it is not that much in your hands. But this thing is definitely, I'm talking about en masse. This is for everybody. The truth is for everybody. It is not that it is only for the rich, not for the poor. Only for the upper middle class, not for the lower middle class. Truth is not like that. Truth is for everybody. Truth does not vary from continent to continent. Truth is not like that. Yeah. But the other things, they will vary. So that is a tough field. Right now, normally, what does a human being do? Human beings offer resistance to nature. Yoga is a science of not offering resistance to nature. The moment you stop offering resistance to nature, the very lifestyle of yoga is about not offering any resistance to nature, not being stiff, being open. The moment you start doing that, nature comes in your favor. If you start doing some things, then Navagrahas will also come in your favor. Everything will be in your favor. Then it is different. then it's a different story altogether. Make your choices wisely. Think not twice, but 100 times before you make this choice. Thank you.